Good morning. Good morning. Hi, cubies and newbies. I am Sunshine. This is the ABCube method for solving Rubik's Cubes, and I am ABCube Jitter. Formula A is 4 moves, Formula B is 8 moves. With these two patterns, you can solve every complexity of Rubik's Cubes. They're all their algorithms out the window. You don't need them, you can use them, especially a parity algorithm. Parities are a lie, but you can play with them if you want to. So this method is not a speed solve method. It's not a fewest moves method. It's not. This is the my brother tried to teach me and I couldn't get it method. This is the I've never been able to figure it out method, because this breaks it all down to just two simple patterns, and it becomes very intuitive. It becomes obvious how to solve the cube, and when you can solve one, you can solve them all because they're all done the exact same way. So Formula A is used to bring a piece to the top, especially the corners, and also to twist the corners around when needed. It's one row, one column. Bottom row, right column works with the edges, and like I said, it'll bring pieces to the top and it'll twist them. Formula B is 8 moves. For every left there's a right, for every up there's a down. They're mathematical zeros, so it's a commutator. So what that means is that these patterns are not going to mess up what you've already done, whatever you've already done. So it's the same pattern, whether it's the first move you're making or the last move you're making to put the last pieces in place. It's still just Formula A and Formula B. Works on also every minx. This is a dodecahedron. This is this little star pattern. The 3x3 is called the megaminx. This is called the gigaminx. I have a teraminx as well, which is 7x. Again, just Formula A, just Formula B is all you need. So, yesterday I did the corners on all of these. Every cube, regardless of how many columns and rows you have, every cube has 8 corners, and those 8 corners can be solved the exact same way just by working with the bottom row and the right column to bring the corners to the top. So I'm going to do that again real quick. I'm going to scramble to 2x2. And because with 2x2, that means it's going to be solved. With every other cube, what that means is that the corners then dictate which color each face is going to be. So, I'm having a hard time scrambling. Okay, so let's start with, this can be color neutral, but I always start, my alpha testers said, no, tell us what to do. So I always start with yellow. Your cube has 8 corners. Find a corner. Your corner has 3 colors. Find a color. I choose yellow. So I find a cube that has yellow on it, and I hold it so that yellow is on the top front face, and that it's in the top front left position. So if I'm holding the cube in my hands, it's under my left thumb. My left thumb is going to protect and preserve it. So now we look at the front of the cube as if it's a spreadsheet with rows and columns, and looking at the formulas here. Formula A is 4 moves, 1 row, 1 column. Formula B is 8 moves, top row and 2 columns. And that's all we need to do. So this cube is correct because I selected it, and I'm all powerful, as are you. So then I look at the cube that's under my right corner. If there is a yellow, I'm ignoring everything but corners. I'm ignoring everything but yellow. So if there's a yellow on this corner somewhere, then yay, Formula A is going to bring it to the top. If there's not, I look at the corner underneath it. And as long as there's a yellow in one of these 2 spots, Formula A will bring it to the top face. If not, I rotate the bottom by quarter turns until there is. But right now there is. So Formula A, bottom row, right column. This piece is going to come to the top. These 2 are going to switch places. So I move this piece away from the action. I bring the cube space down, move the cube into the space, and the cube in the space back up again. And there we go. Now I could just muscle it into place, but I treat the first 4 corners the same way I treat the second 4 corners. So I'm going to assume that, as if there's pieces here that I don't want to displace. So this one to come up here, out, down, in, up. Okay, yellow's on top, pause, slide the top row only to preserve this one now. There's a yellow here or here, so Formula A, out, down, in, up. Is the yellow on top? Not yet, we keep going. Out, down, in, up. Pause, slide the top row to preserve this one, continue with this one. Again, if there's a yellow here or here, A will bring it to the top. And if not, then I rotate the bottom until there is. So out, down, in, up is yellow on top, no, keep going. Out, down, and up is yellow on top, no, keep going. Keep going. Yellow's on top. When I'm teaching in real life, I I teach A to bring the corners to the top, and then I say, great, now do it on this one. Now do it on this one. Now do it again. Now scramble it and try again. I want you to get really comfortable with Formula A before we move on to Formula B, because this is cubing for non-cubers here. So when the yellow's on top, one of three things has happened. Either all of the each corner has three colors, not just one. We're going to look at the other two corners and we're going to see how they match to each other on the sides. And one of three things has happened. Either all of the sides match, none of the sides match, or one side matches. Most of the time it's going to be one, but sometimes it'll be one or the other. So this one has one. If no sides match, it doesn't matter. I'm going to do the same thing regardless, but if one side matches, I hold it facing away. Top row, I'm going to now do Formula A, brought the colors to the top, and I'm going to use Formula B to move pieces around. We're about to be attacked by a kitty, I think. Hi, kitty. Hi. Hi. Okay. So, top row, two columns. For the corners, it's obvious which ones it is. On a 2x2, it's obvious. For the corners, it's the outside columns. So this one's going to stay the same. These are going to move. Okay, so I move this piece away from the left. I bring the left up. I move it back where it was, which is away from the right, and I bring the right up. Okay, again and down, again and down. Okay, now the bottom is untouched. Can't tell because it's scrambled, but I can do it on a solid cube to demonstrate. So we already know how to bring the yellow to the top again, so we go right back into Formula A. Out, down, in, up. Out, down, in, up. Pause. And doing Formula B and A to bring yellow back to the top again moves those four corners to the next face. So if none of them were matching, when I finish this, one side will match. If one side was matching, as was the case, when I finish this, all sides will match. So red equals red, green equals green, orange equals orange, blue equals blue. Okay, first four corners are done. Second four corners are done the exact same way. We take the yellow, put it face down. If there's any whites already on top, we'll preserve them. But now, yellow is opposite white on most cubes, not on all cubes. On this one, for example, yellow is opposite red, and there's a purple thrown in and no white. So not all cubes are colored the same way. But on a standardized cube, opposite yellow is going to be white. And sure enough, if I look at all four corners, they all have white on them. If there's white on top, I'll preserve it. Otherwise, it doesn't matter where I start. And I'm going to abandon my yellow, which means I'm not going to let the yellow distract me while I'm bringing the white to the top, because it's going to be dancing all around, and if I get distracted, I can thinking, oh no, I messed up, I have to start over again. That's not true. You got to trust the process. So, Formula A to bring the white from wherever it is here to the top. Bottom row, right column. Out, down, in, up. Out, down, in, up. Okay, when the white's on top, I pause. I slide the top row only to preserve that under my left thumb. And then I proceed with the next corner. Out, down, in, up. Out, down, in, up. Pause. Slide to preserve. Proceed with the next one. Excuse me. Did not mean to burp. Okay, pause. Slide to preserve. Proceed with the next one. And I can see the yellows dancing all around, having a heyday, and I don't care because when I have the white on top, I look at the yellows, they're back to where they were, they're still happy. So Formula A and Formula B does not affect anything except for the pieces that you're trying to affect. So now that the white's on top, same thing, one of three things has happened. Green equals green, red does not equal blue, orange does not equal red, and blue does not equal orange. So we have one side that matches, face it away, proceed to Formula B. Slide up, slide up, slide down, yellow is still happy, and we already know how to bring the white back to the top again, just Formula A. Pause, preserve, proceed. Pause, preserve, proceed. And so when the yellows are all on top, it's proceeded to the next step as promised. So the second four corners are happy, the first four corners are happy, but red does not equal blue, so I slide it till the top until they both match, and the corners are done. So on the 2x2, that's everything. On the every other cube, what that does is it shows me which color each face is going to be, because the corners are correct to each other. Therefore, there is now a correct spot for every other piece to be. We don't have to do the reduction method. We can just, hi kitty. Just a direct solve. If you have a pet, tell me what you have and what their name is. Okay, so now that the corners are done, I've been training myself as a newbie. This is for newbies. I've been training myself to look for yellow or white, so let's keep looking for yellow or white. So I hold the cube in my hand with yellow and white left and right as dictated by the corners. And regardless, all of these are going to be done the exact same way. I know they look different. One looks more intimidating than the other, but they're not. They're all done the exact same way. An edge piece is done the same way on a 3x3, or it's a 4x4, or it's a 5x5, as in anything. So, if you have, on a 3x3, you only have one center column to look at, but we're going to look at the center column, and center column or columns, holding yellow and white left and right, and we're going to find a piece that has yellow or white on it in the middle area, and we're going to move it to the outside face. Let me find my blue tack here. So here's one. Here's a yellow or white. It's in my middle area. Yellow and white are left and right. So at this point in time, the corners are done. We're going to preserve them. So I'm going to bring the corners together to match the front. So this cube is orange and yellow. It's going to land above the orange and yellow something color, not above the orange and white something cube. So it's going to go in this direction. So top row, 2 columns. The first column is where I want it to land. Second column is where it begins. So this is one column, and this is the other column. And so there's of the 8 moves, we start by moving it away from the action, up, back in, second up, reverse down, and we're just placing pieces one at a time. Here's another one. Corners already match the front. It's going in this direction. Away, up, in, up, away, down, in, down. Okay? For as long as there's a yellow or white in the middle, we're doing the opposite edges. Corners match the front. It's going in this direction. Away, up, in, up, away, down, in, down. Okay? Find another one. Find another yellow or white, but we want the yellow or white to be on top. So I'm going to flip the cube, but yellow and white are still left and right. Okay? Corners match the front. Determine which direction. Start by moving away. First column up, in, second column up, away, down, in, down, and we're just placing one piece at a time. Okay? And when we have no more yellow or whites in the middle, then we assess. So this one's not correct. Some of them are, some of them are not. We find one that's wrong. It doesn't matter which one, how many are wrong. We find one that's wrong. Then we're going to use Formula B to displace a piece from the top into this piece, which will move it. These 3 pieces are going to move, which will move it into the middle where I can work on it again. So top row, 2 columns. This one's going over here. So away, up, in, up, away, down, in, down. And that piece is now in the middle area, so I can play with it. Corners match the front. It's going in this direction. And then I just follow the dominoes. Follow it as dominoes until I get to, again, a place where there's no more yellow or whites in the middle, and then I will reassess again. So when the opposite edges are correct, then I will go to the next step. Up, up, down, down. Here's another yellow. Okay, but I want it to be on top, so I flip it, but yellow and white are left and right. Corners match the front. It's going in this direction. Hello! Drop your name in the chat if you want to. Say hi to me. So again, we have no more yellow or whites in the middle, so we set the center and assess. And this time, the edges look happy between their respective corners. And so the opposite side edges are done. But we do the same thing regardless of which cube we're working on. They're all done the exact same way. We hold the cube yellow and white left and right, and we look for a yellow or white in the middle. Okay. but we want the active color to be on top, so we flip it, but yellow and white are still left and right. Bring the corners to match the front, determine which direction it's going. So this is the first column, and this is the second column is where it begins. First, start by moving away from the action. So away, up, in, up, away, down, in, down. Da da. Find it, and then keep doing it for as long as there's a yellow or white anywhere in the middle area. Yellow or white edge piece. Corners are already done. We're looking only now at edge pieces. We're not ignoring the centers. So corners match the front. It's going into the white direction, and the centers can cycle freely, so we can look and see whether or not any of them happen to want to line up. But I don't actually pair them up to begin with. I don't say, oh, here's my orange and yellow piece. Where's the other one? Let's put them all together. There's a lot of inspection that goes on there. I don't know how fast you are, but if you do it this way, you're doing away with that inspection. You're just placing each piece as you find it. I am not a speed cuber, but I think some things about this method, even though it's not a speed solving method, some things can be taken and used to improve your time. Corners match the front. It's going in this direction. Look at the other columns to see if there's anything useful. There's not, but both of these want to come out, so I'm going to put both of these in. So away from the action, up, into the action, up, away, down, in, down. Okay, and no yellow or white here. Here's a yellow or white. We just keep for as long as there's a yellow or white anywhere in the middle area. We're working on the opposite edges today. Feel free to distract me with questions and comments because I'm neurodivergent and that's fun. So this one is going over here, away from the action, first up, back in, second up, away, down, back down. And like I said, they pair themselves up. Once you know there's already a correct place for them to be, just put each one in the correct place, and they pair themselves up. So corners match the front. It's going over here. This one also wants to come out. Let's see if there's another one I can use. There's not, but we're going to treat these as one piece because we want to move both of these out. I can just do one, but this increases the odds of me not having a predetermined place that's incorrect. So placing pieces one at a time. Who do we have with me today? Romper, bumper, stomper, boo. Tell me, do. All right. Here's another one. This one's lined up. It's going in this direction. 1, 2, 3. No happy. So we just put it over here in this direction. I'm going to move both of these down to move this one out as well. So up, up, down, down. Find a piece that's wrong. Match the corners. Throw it in the direction it wants to be. Lather, rinse, repeat. So again, this is not a speed solve method. It's not a fewest moves method, but every cube can be solved with just Formula A and Formula B. So this method can be learned inside of roughly 2 hours. Learn to the point as where I no longer need a cheat sheet to solve the cube. And you're learning not just 3x3, you're learning the 5x5 and everything else all at the same time. So even though I believe this is the easiest method to learn. But if it's not, it's the easiest method that works on all size cubes. And you'll notice that because this is geared towards non-cubers, I don't make you learn the standard notation. I don't make you learn that right is the parallel of left prime. I don't make you learn anything. You just pick the cube up, look at what it looks like, and then do the thing, and the cube is solved. So this one's going to go over here, away, up, in, second up, away, down, in, second, down. And for as long as there's a yellow or white in the middle, here's 1, This is not, like I said, it's not a speed solve method. It's crazy with regrips. And, but it does put the cube down solved. So if you want to learn a new algorithm and you are new to the cube, it's easier to learn what the algorithms do if you can practice it on a solved cube rather than the scrambled cube to see what's happening. So there are things, even I think there's things that even a expert cubist can still. It breaks it down to where it's intuitive. If all you've learned is algorithms, you may not actually understand what's happening. But this makes it more intuitive. So I don't see any more yellow or white in the middle. We're ignoring the centers. We're only looking at edges. So I check that we already know the corners are done. And these ones, the edges seem to be happy in between their respective corners. So the edges are done. Opposite edges are done on these two. Same thing on this one, just to demonstrate that they're all done the same way. I don't generally do a solve from scramble to solve. I break each video is broken down into one particular step. I did the corners on this one just to get up to speed, and then today I'm doing the opposite edges. So yellow and white are left and right as dictated by the corners. Corners match the front. It's going into this direction. Okay. Away, up, in, up, away, down, in, down. Okay? And lather, rinse, repeat. For as long as there's a yellow or white anywhere in the middle area, we throw it to the outsides, and we're getting the opposite edges done. So the corners match the front. If you want to talk to me, you may. Do you have any fun plans for the weekend? Okay. All of these want to move out. So away from the action, up, into the action. Second up is all of them. Just because the larger the cubes are, the more columns there are, the bigger swatch you can move at a time, which means that while you're setting one piece correctly, you may be automatically setting another piece correct as well while you're doing it. So none of these need to be preserved. So this piece, corners match the front, is going the yellow direction. Let's check the other sides to see if anything is happy. 1, 2, 3. No, nothing else is happy. So it's just this one piece. Slide up, slide up, slide down, slide down. So here's another piece. Flip it so the active colors on top, yellow and white are left and right. Corners match the front. It's going in this direction. Nothing else is correct. So let's do a quick look at the other things. Okay, no, it didn't help. I don't need to check this side because this one is the one that's supposed to be over here. So I'm just going to move this piece over, slide up, slide up, slide down, slide down. I do have a Zoom set up as well, prepared to set up as well. So if you want to help me demonstrate my method, I can get the Zoom going, and that way I can see your cube and we can see how they work. But you're welcome to just lurk. That's just fine. So corners match the front. It's going the yellow direction. This one's already correct, but this one might be here somewhere, and it's not. So that's okay. But both of these want to move out, so I'm going to treat this as one piece. Away, up, in, up. Away, down, in, down. Okay, no more yellow or whites there. Many more here. Let's look. Okay. This one's already here. These two both want to go over here. I can place these both at the same time. Away, up, in, this up and this up. Away, down, back, this down and this down. Okay. And allow the rinse repeat. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. All right, but all these want to move out. So up, up, down, down. I am not a speed cuber. My average for the 3x3 is about 1.5 minutes. I have broken a minute a couple times though. It's just not as, speed solving is not as fun for me as teaching is. So that's the direction that I went in. That's what's fun for me, is teaching the cube. I have been teaching the cube off and on since the early 80s when I first got the cube as a young middle schooler. Corners match the front. Okay, it's going in this direction. 1, 2, look at that. How about that? They're together. Up, up, down, down. This method, I published this method online in 2020. This is the method that I learned back in the 80s. I went to the corner grocery store, corner 7-Eleven, picked it up on the book rack, and memorized it. Back then, everybody had a cube, but it wasn't solved unless you could figure it out yourself. And so I was not that smart, but I found a book and memorized it. This is, of course, there's no YouTube, so the books is how we learned. And this was written before there was standardized notation. So corners match the front. It's going in the white direction. None of these need to be preserved, so let's see if anything else wants to follow through, fall into place. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we'll do all of these. Away, up, in, up, away, down, in, down. So everything, this works on every complexity Rubik's Cube, every dodecahedron puzzle. Formula A brings piece to top, formula B moves 3 pieces around. Okay, so this one's going over here. I can look and see if that one happens to be ready, and it's not, so that's okay. So just this one. Slide up, slide up, slide down, slide down. For as long as there are, we're looking only at the edge pieces, looking only for as long as there is a yellow or white anywhere in the middle area, the edge pieces are placed the exact same way, whether it's a 3x3 or a 10x10. Corners match the front. It's going in this direction. There's 2 of them. You can move both of these in. Slide up, slide, second up, reverse down, and down. Okay, and again, we're placing them one at a time, sometimes 2, but you don't have to spend time looking for a particular. I don't spend looking for a particular piece. I just find a piece that's wrong, throw it in the direction it wants to be, and lather, rinse, repeat. No yellow or white here, no yellow or white here. Here's 1, here's 2. One at a time. Corners to match the front. It's going in this direction. Up, second up, down, second down. Flip it. Yellow and white are still left and right. Corners match the front. This direction. I'm not going to look for this piece because it's right here. So just this piece. Slide up, slide up, slide down, slide down. Okay. And the piece that I just displaced, active color on top. Yellow and white are still left and right. Corners match the front. And it's going in this direction. Away, up, in, up, away, down, in, down. Do, do, do. Nothing, no yellow or white. Here's 1. Okay, corners match the front. It's going in the white direction. Slide up, slide up, slide down, slide down. Because it's a mathematical 0. For every left, there's a right. For every up, there's a down. So it only affects the pieces I want to affect. No yellow or white here, no yellow or white here, no yellow or white here, no yellow or white here. So we assess. So either they're all correctly where they want to be in between their respective corners, or one of them is already pre-existing and didn't get to it yet, in which case, if something's wrong, I just throw a random piece from the middle into that side, which brings it out to the middle and then I place it from the middle. So corners are done, opposite edges are done. Unless you have any comments or questions for me, this feels like an organic pausing place. We'll come back and, you know what? It's Saturday. I should finish. So if there's going to be a parity happens on a larger cube, but that can't happen on a 3x3. But it can happen on a void cube, and for the exact same reason. A parity is where it looks like, well, let me do the side edges and see if I get any parities. If I don't, then I have got some parities preloaded. All right, so opposite edges are done. Now I'm going to do the side edges. Okay, this is where I would make sure that I've got if there's an absolute center I can see, I have it set properly before I proceed. Otherwise, I can get a parity. Like here, where I can't tell whether the center is properly aligned, I gave myself a parity. Okay, did it on purpose so I could show you. So as long as if the center, all of the center is aligned, you're not going to get a parity. If you don't know if the center is aligned, as in there's two columns here and there's no absolute center for either one of them, so either one of these could be aligned or misaligned. We don't know until a parity either does or does not show up. So white goes face down. I'm looking at the yellow. I'm going to displace a yellow into an incorrect side spot until all those side spots are correct. So it doesn't matter which one, as long as it's incorrect. I'm going to use formula B, because that's all I ever do is A and B, to move displace a yellow piece into this spot, which will bring it out to the top where I can then work with it. So yellow is face down until the rest of the edges are solved. Okay, so displace this into here, away, up, in, up, away, down, in, down, and that put this yellow here. And this yellow was over here. It's going to go bip-bop back and forth while I work with the piece on top that's not yellow until the yellow finds its way back to the top. So hold the cube stable, hold the top row, rotate the cube as a whole until the corners match the front. Now I'm ignoring, at the beginning we ignored everything but yellow. Now we're ignoring all of the yellow and we're working on the piece on top that's not yellow. So corners match the front, it's going in this direction. Slide up, slide up, slide down, and we just moved 3 cubes around. Okay, look for a piece on top that's not yellow. That's the one I'm going to work with. Corners to match the front, going in this direction. Up, up, down, down. And we do this until yellow finds its way back to the top. Doesn't have to be the top face, just has to be the top layer. And it did find its way back to the top. So now we assess. Okay, if the sides are all done, this is a parity because this goes here and this goes here. But we have to look and see if the sides are done, because if there's more, if there's 3 or more pieces, then it's not a parity yet. So this piece is incorrect. I'm going to throw a yellow piece into it. I'm going to throw the incorrect yellow in before I will throw the correct yellow in, just because reasons. So this piece is going to go here, slide up, slide up, slide down, slide down. Look for the piece on top that's not yellow and keep going until the sides edges are done. Then we either have a parity or we don't. It's really hard to get a parity on a 3x3. You have to deliberately try for it. So we're not going to have a parity here, but on these ones, we might. So it's going in this direction, away up, in up, away down, in down. Okay, look for the piece on top that's not yellow, and just follow it like dominoes. Corners match the front. It's going in this direction. This is yellow. It's going to come to the top again. And when it's at this time, we assess it again. The corners are done. So this one's done. Now, when we do the side edges for these ones, we may or may not end up with a parity. But because of the way I do it, the parity, if it's going to show up, is going to show up on the one slice rather than on 2 slices. So I'm only going to displace up through the middle and not beyond, so that these ones are going to stay the same. These are the only ones that are going to get displaced. And so if they come back as a parity, the parity will be in the same row. So I'm going to displace this down into an incorrect spot. Slide up, slide up, slide down, slide down. And again, this yellow is going to bob back and forth as I play with this one. Okay, corners match the front, going in the green direction, slide up, slide up, slide down, slide down. Okay, and we're just placing pieces one at a time. Corners match the front. It's going in the blue direction, away up, in up, away down, in down. Find another piece. Okay, corners match the front. It's going in this direction, away up, in up, away down, in down. Okay, ignoring the yellow, looking only for the piece on top that's not yellow, and caring about that one. Corners match the front. It's going the orange direction. Slide up, slide up, slide down, slide down. Okay, keep doing this until the yellow comes back to the top. Correct or incorrectly, doesn't matter. Corners match the front. It's going the orange direction. Slide up, slide up, slide down, and we just move 3 cubes around. In fact, let me do that on this one to show you what's happening. Okay, this piece over to here, slide up, slide up, slide down, slide down. Most of the cube is untouched. 3 cubes and only 3 cubes have changed places. Okay, once has the direction of going in one direction. Do it again. It has the effect of having gone in the opposite direction. So I don't have to have one for going clockwise and one for going counterclockwise. I just do it, and if it's solved, it's done. If not, I do it again. And that's less time for me than looking at it and figuring out clockwise or counterclockwise, because my brain's neurospicy. I don't do clockwise and counterclockwise are difficult for me. So, piece on top that's not yellow. Corners match the front. This is the piece I'm working with. It's going in this direction. Away up, in up, away down, in down. Okay. Piece on top that's not yellow is going to go in this direction. Up, up, down, down. Corners match the front. This direction. Up, up, down, down. Yellow came back to the top, so I assess. Okay. These ones are correct, these ones are correct, these ones are correct, these ones are correct. If any of them are not correct, then I'm going to displace them with one of these incorrect yellow slices. But because they are all correct, and there are 2 pieces and only 2 pieces need to move, here's a parity. I'm going to come back to that after I see if I get a parity over here. So, I'm going to move these, again, white's face down. It's going to stay face down until all the edges are solved. Slide up, slide up, slide down, slide down. I've displaced yellow, but only to the middle and no farther. Okay, and so now I work with not yellow. Again, same thing regardless of how many columns you have, it's the same thing. It's all formula A, formula B. Corners match the front. It's going in this direction. Slide up, slide second up, slide down, slide second down. Okay. One at a time. Blue tack, stick. Wonder Twin power is activated. There we go. Corners match the front. It's going in the orange. These 2 are together. This one I can treat these together without any extra effort. So I will. Up, up, down, down. If it was already correctly placed, I would not have done that. So, piece on top that's not yellow. Corners to match the front. Oh, I didn't set I'm so sorry. I said it's a good time to set your center and then didn't do it. There we go. Sorry about that. Okay, so corners and center match the front. It's going in this direction. slide up, slide up, slide down, slide down. So yes, sometimes I make mistakes, and that is okay. Corners match the front. Match the front. Excuse me. Going in. Red and blue pieces go above the red and blue something corner, not the red and green something corner. So this direction. Away up, in up, away down, in down. Okay. Here, another piece. Corners match the front. It's going in this direction. Slide up, slide up, slide down, slide down. Okay. Another piece. Corners match the front. It's going in this direction. Up, up, down, down. Okay. Another piece. Corners to match the front. It's going in the red direction. Up, up, down, down. So I see the yellow came back to the top. We're going to keep ignoring it until all of the yellows come back to the top. Corners match the front. It's going in this direction. And speaking of bringing the yellow back to the top, this will do it. Okay, so yellow's back at the top. Set the corners, and then I assess. These ones are correct, these ones are correct, these ones are correct, these ones correct, and the yellow looks happy. So this one did not have a parity, and this one did. So now we'll handle the parity. Okay. Because the cube is honest, inherently honest, the parity is a lie. When you have a parity, there are parity algorithms out there that you can memorize, and they are not happy. They're not fun little algorithms, and they only apply when a parity, and you only get a parity, let's say half the time, but not really. It's actually less than that. It's more if you're doing a reductionist method, it goes up slightly. But a parity is where this piece wants to go there, this piece wants to go there, and everything else on that layer, all the other edge pieces, are already solved. Okay, so as this one has a parity, this one has a parity, and this one has a parity. The parity can be on the same row, like I forced mine to be. It can be opposite next to each other. It can be on the same face on opposite things. But anytime there's two and only two, it's a parity, because formula B and every other algorithm, except for a parity algorithm, is going to move three pieces around. You can't move just one piece around. You can't move just two pieces around. You have to move three. So if I tried to use formula B on this, I would just bring this piece to the correct spot, and this piece would go down. So these two would be out of place, but it'd still be two. So whenever you see a parity, there's always three pieces. If you only see two, the third piece that you do not see is literally the piece that you do not see. It is the slice that these are on. The slice that touches the parity is a quarter turn off. Actually, if you have a cube and you have a quarter turn off, you'll get a parity. But if you have two quarter turns off, even if it's an even number of turns off, no parity. Odd number of turns off, parity. So if you looked at just this row, okay, you see just the edges on this row, you see two are correct and two are incorrect. But if you rotate this row 1/4 turn in either direction, now one cube is correct and three are incorrect. And we already know how to move three pieces around. You probably have an algorithm specifically for these three, but I'm going to do formula B with it. Okay. Because I teach newbies, I'm going to keep my yellow as the top though. So I'm going to displace this into this piece. I'm going to do formula B and displace this parity piece onto the side, up, up, down, down, and the slice that landed on is the one I'm going to rotate a quarter turn. Okay, and then I'm just going to place this again as I have. Corners match the front. It's going in this direction. Formula B, slide up, slide down, slide down. Again, going in this direction, up, up, down, down. Again, the corners match the front. It's going in this direction, up, up, down, down. Last one, going in this direction, up, up, down, down. And the parity has poof dissolved. No parity. The parity, because it was caused by a quarter turn being off, it's solved by a quarter turn being off. So because I do the centers last, I don't have to redo anything I've already done. But because in this one, I did the centers first, just to show you, because that's what most people do. That most people work center out. So again, on this row, 2 are correct, 2 are incorrect. Make it a single quarter turn. And now 1 is correct and 3 are not. Green's my top now. And so if I do formula B for place the edges again, the parity has poof disappeared. And because I already did the centers, I am going to have to redo the centers, because that single quarter turn did offset the centers that I'd already done. But when you do the centers last, it hasn't. So you don't have to redo anything. You just have to now do the centers. And I don't see that the centers are any more difficult or more timely to do at the end than they are at the beginning. So if you're working with large cubes, parity is now resolved. If you're working with large cubes, it's advantageous because parities do exist, even though they're a lie, to do the corners and the edges. So when the parity shows up, I swipe it away and then I continue on. And I don't have that plus 10 seconds timing thing at the end. So I've done that parity. The same thing here. You don't know, you can't see. The only way I know that center's a quarter turn off is because I have a parity. So again, single quarter turn, fix this one, and then just blue's now my top. Formula B to place the piece that's not blue, over and over again. But that single quarter turn undid the parity, dissolved the parity. So you don't have to memorize a parity. If you are going from center out and you get to the parity, your parity algorithm will be faster than doing the single quarter turn and doing the formula B 5 times. However, but if you're working outside in, then that single quarter turn, I lost my up. Anyway, so then you just reset the centers, because the centers, and it's the same thing when you take a cube apart, take a large cube apart. We learned back when all we had was the 3x3, that when you take it apart and put it back together again, you have to put it back together again into a solved state. Otherwise, you can put it into a position that cannot be solved. And so we just assumed that applied to larger cubes as well. But the thing is that it only applies to cubes that only have one correct space. Okay, so the corners, of course, have to be put back together in uniform with each other. The centers have to be put back together in the correct spot. The absolute center, or the edges, the absolute center has to be correct. But all of the rest of these center pieces, the diagonals and the obliques, all of these center pieces do not have just one correct spot. This white piece could be visually correct. I'm sorry, this red piece could be visually correct next to the red, white, and blue corner, or it could be visually correct over here. Every piece has 4 places it can be, which changes the mathematics of everything, but it also means that you cannot put them back again wrong, because they can be correct in 1 of 4 spaces. So because of the mathematics, it cannot be wrong. So all you have to do for the centerpieces of a large cube you've taken apart is pair them up, is sort them by size. You don't have to sort them by color. Just put them any color together wherever it fits, and as long as the corners, edges, and absolute center are correct, you will be in a solvable state. So that saves a lot of headache when you're reassembling a puzzle. Okay, so corners are done, offset edges are done, side edges are done. Parity has been resolved if it has been dissolved, if there is one. All that's left now, this one, I demonstrated formula A on this one. So let's do it again. These 3 corners need to move. I'm going to move Formula A, this row, this column, I'm going to bring this piece to the top. Out, down, in, up. Okay, so formula A is how you do boxes. Formula A is how you get any piece to the top. You can use formula A for any one side, but formula A does affect all 6 sides at the same time. So you can only do it for one side. You can't do it for the other sides. So it's a little bit of a shortcut to do so. For example, here's okay. If these 3 pieces want to go right here. Formula A, I would move the pieces away, the space down, the pieces into the space, and the piece in the space back up again. Okay, so for this one to go right here, same thing, I'd move it away, out, down, in, up. And because Formula A is so intuitive, it is how most people who are first starting the cube, how they can get the first face but nothing more. They're using Formula A, they just don't know it. So for this one to come up here, away, down, in, up. Okay, for this one to go here, out, down, in, up, and set. For the ones on the bottom, though, you can't use Formula A for those. I mean, so it's Formula B. So that's as far as I can go using Formula A on this one. So these 2 pieces, line them up to where I'm going to move them. I'm going to jump them twice. So I'm going to move these 2 pieces up here. I'm going to bring down these 2. So having done the edges, now we're moving on to the centers. Okay, and the centers are also Formula B. But the 2 columns you're using are the are inside columns rather than the outside columns. The outside columns do corners, inside does edges, 2 centers columns move centers around. So I'm going to line it up to where it's advantageous, and then I'm going to treat this as one piece. So I go up, I rotate the top so it's in a different column, and that becomes my second column. Reverse down, reverse down. So it's more Formula A. I'm going to do this again. These are going to go up to the top. Now I can go back to Formula A if I want to. Out, down, in, up. Line it up. Out, down, in, up. And reset. Okay, so out, down, in, up. Out, down, in, up, and it's on the bottom. So Formula B, up, up, down, down, and then this one, I can just put under where it wants to be, out, down, in, up, and reset. So everything else from here out is Formula B. And it's just you. Any order you want to do, you just find a piece that's wrong, any piece that's incorrect, and that piece is currently on the front face, and you want to hold it so that the color it is on top, so that piece can move to the top. And then we follow that piece along for the center pieces. So this one's going to land here. So 2 columns, this is the first column, it goes up, move the top layer so it's in a separate column, that becomes your second column up. And because the edges are done, they're a visual clue to help me when I reverse it and drill back. Set the top and we're done. Okay, here's a green on the face, hold it to green on top. It's going to land here. I can bring down a red piece or a yellow piece. I don't want to bring down a red because red is opposite orange. So up, up, down, down. So it's all just Formula A and Formula B. Here's a yellow. We'll bring down the orange. Now it looks like we're moving 2 pieces. We're not. We're always moving 3. If 2 of the pieces are the same color, it might look like 2 pieces. But whether you're moving corners, edges, or centers, you're always moving 3 pieces around with Formula B. So we go up, slide to a different column, second up, reverse down, reverse down. And from there, it's intuitive. I'm going to call this a pausing place. So thank you for joining me. And I appreciate you. Go have a great day. Go be nice to yourself. Go drink lots of water. You'll find something to be happy about. And I will be back next week when I scramble them all again. If you want to bring me your non-cuber friends, that'll be fun. And if you want to Zoom with me, you can help me demonstrate my method, or you can bring me a non-cuber friend and I'll teach them live and online. Okay, I'm gonna go feed my cat, and so bye, you guys.